My name is Trevor. I am the writer of the songs Sure It'll Be Grand,
Sure it'll be grand. Forget
Vote or No Confidence,
they use right wing.
Article 48,
You can drive us out till nothing's left.
The Soul of Europe,
And if I go to Spain, will I still have a chance?
Everyone Unites,
Where the emperors have no clothes, and now the time has come.
Tax Me More,
Why is our government a taxing nymphomaniac?
The Label Tribe,
Islamophobe, racist, supremacist, sheep, colonizer, capitalist, liberal creep. All of it designed to stop critical thinking.
a lot of songs in just a short amount of time. It's been a roller coaster, for sure. Sure It'll Be Grand was the first song, and it was written again out of frustration about stuff that's going on in Ireland and the world at the moment, really. There's a lot of government corruption happening in every country, it seems, at the moment. And it was directed at Irish people, or maybe people in general, who just sort of bury their heads in the sand and don't do anything, don't take action in any way, shape or form. That kind of leads into Vote or No Confidence and Article 48 then, and The Soul of Europe, and those songs. All of them really are kind of about that rebel, break-free political landscape. The channel, first of all, that I made, Giddymethat, was just experimental, just some cartoon comedy, some parodies. I never expected to move, sort of divert into this different direction with music. Sure It'll Be Grand sort of got released at the perfect time. It was the perfect storm because all of the diesel protests were happening at the time, which was one of the things I wrote about and one of the motivations. And I have a lot of love for farmers and good food and Ireland. My heart is forever in the beauty of Ireland. I've been writing songs and poems my whole life, but I've never really had the courage to release them because people are mean and I'm too sensitive. That was out, and it was just the most surreal thing, swiping and seeing the song come up. You know, it was crazy. So Vote or No Confidence is about 3 songs in one. It originally started as a small song, and it was just talking about 1 or 2 topics and frustrations, fuel issues and the farmer issues and so on, and the price of energy. And then I started getting into a little bit about racism and a little bit about immigration. I was writing the song and I'm like, no, I need to add this, I need to add this. And it just escalated. And I was like, crap, I made the song too long. I just wanted it to get as many hits as Sure It'll Be Grand, you know, maybe 100k or something, and I would have been happy. But I was looking at it and it wasn't getting any hits. And I was also asking myself the question, why aren't we having a Vote or No Confidence? How have we lost complete and utter democratic power to do anything against this government, let alone have no referendums on some of the decisions that we make, which led to Article 48, of course. The song anyway did send the message that I wanted to send out there. And it was overwhelming. I never expected it to go as far as it did, for people to be looking at it from different countries. I thought it was just going to be another diddly-eye kind of Irish song, you know. I mean, of course, I hoped it did well. I think often we feel helpless, you know, in this day and age with what's going on. I don't think the Irish people are helpless. I don't think any people in Europe or the world are helpless. We are the majority, and if we pull our resources and our minds together, and if we think intelligently and strategic, I do believe that we can overcome these overreaching, let's face it, tyrannical governments and EU. So anyway, after that, I did Article 48. I write the music in a way that can inspire, educate, and again, match the emotion. I know AI, a lot of people don't resonate with AI because they want to connect with a real musician. And I hope one day I can connect with a real musician. But again, it's all I have. It's all I had at my disposal. And I saw an opportunity and I took it. Tax Me More came afterwards, which is about taxes in Ireland. And again, the song speaks for itself. And I think that's my favorite, you know, in a way. Not the most successful song, but, you know, I dance to it all the time. We dance to it. And then The Label Tribe, again, speaks for itself. I'm right wing on a Tuesday, I'm left wing on a Wednesday. You know, it's like you can have right wing and left wing opinions at the same time. And it just removes intelligence and analysis from the conversation. And that's what that song is about, tackling that. The Soul of Europe was a lot of work. It was a bit emotionally draining because it's funny, I know this sounds cliche, it sounds so cliche, but it came to me literally in a dream. You know, I heard the lyrics in a dream. And if I go to Spain and if I go to France, will I still have a chance to hear the singing streets? And if I go here, and I know there was a lot of people disappointed that I didn't mention the Slavic countries and Eastern European. It was a very sort of mainstream type song. But that song was dedicated to the whole of Europe. And Everyone Unites is a song where I do mention all the songs, all the countries I'm in. But that song is reflecting the same frustration happening in all of Europe and highlighting a sort of a mourning or a loss that seems to be happening with the loss of our culture and identity. And culture and identity in that song literally said this in the song, took centuries to build. You know, I was talking to a guy today who is from India, and he talked about how much he loved Ireland. Like, he just loved the churches. And that's the same thing I would love if I went to India or if I went to different countries. I want to go there and see their culture, you know, and we're dissolving that identity and that culture and that magic it takes hundreds of years to build, but it takes a shorter amount of time to dissolve. There's so much more, so many verses that I wrote, hundreds of them that didn't make the cut. I have a problem with writing too much where the songs get too big and I have to make them smaller. Ultimately, I hope the truth and the message in the songs reaches and resonates with a lot of people, and that it makes a difference. And when I see some of the comments, it just blows my mind, you know, that when people say that they were crying when they were listening to the songs, such as The Soul of Europe, or, you know, there's some negative comments, but when you're reading the positive comments, it's incredible to see that it's such an honor. I know it's cheesy to say it, it's cliche to say it, that you can have this impact on people. And I do care that the songs are AI, don't get me wrong, but I achieve the message and the tonality and the emotional connection that I want to portray in that song, even though it's not a real singer. And I guess not in AI's defense, a lot of modern music is electronically generated. If you listen to modern music, you turn on the radio today, some pop music, they're electronic beats, even some of the modern pop songs, just a real singer, you know, if they're not using auto-tune. But I'm not trying to excuse that AI is the best source of music, but I use it consciously and I use it for good. And it's 10 times harder than I thought, you know, producing a song. It does take hours, you know, days to not just write a song, but to produce it and to get that connection that you want. I do, of course, have hundreds of things I've written over the years that are not rebel songs, which I'll be releasing as well. So I want to thank you all for your support, all the comments. It's been amazing growth in such a short period of time. And I want to let you know that I'm just a human being called Trevor from Ireland who loves speaking his heart and mind and truth and inspiring people to awaken their inner rebel, to become wiser, smarter, stronger, better, to realize that we can overcome this darkness that we're experiencing in the world right now. YouTube, Spotify is where everything gets released first. So that's some things will be on YouTube and Spotify probably that isn't on TikTok. I do read all the comments, the emails. You can go to my website at Giddymethat, which is still in development, by the way. I have a lot more coming on that website. I do this in my spare time. I work a full-time job, but I appreciate all the support you give me. And thank you for following the channel.
Divide the youth, the farmland and more. The EU needs its civil war. They make us poor, divided, weak. Kids are angry on the streets, pushed to buy Brazilian meat. Women scared to walk the streets.